Hey, and welcome to episode. Oh, what? What is it, Brian?
What's wrong with you?
You're the worst host we've ever had.
Oh, wait, I forgot. It's the 1 week anniversary of our first episode, or as I like to call it, episode 2.
Yay!
My name is Jared, and with me, as always, and by always I mean as of last week,
I'm Brian.
And I'm Ian.
welcome, boys.
Hey,
Thank you.
been?
And we're going to discuss. We don't really have an agenda this week. We're going to go over some news and then briefly touch upon something else, maybe for about 30 minutes, hopefully. But as usual, we can run at the mouth.
We've been known to.
Yes. First on our list, to touch back to our last episode, we all saw episode 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I did.
I also did.
And, gentlemen, what did you think?
I felt,
Same as the first.
I felt that it was meant to be a 2-hour premiere, and they cut it into 2 episodes.
I agree.
I guess I can kind of get that feeling, too. The whole working of the team together and all that.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
it's like the end of the first episode was like the middle crescendo, and then they're like, oh, how are they going to get to be a team? And then, of course, the very end of the second episode, which I won't say in case people haven't seen it.
Well, just listen, spoilers. We got to
Okay,
talk.
fine.
So if
Nick,
you haven't seen it, skip ahead.
Yeah, so Nick Fury shows up at the end of episode 2, which really felt, again, like that should have been at the end of the first episode, which, again, makes me feel like it was a 2-hour episode they cut down.
It is an odd thing to put at the end of your second episode.
Yeah.
Or my thought might have been was I was watching, I was like, oh, so maybe they're also setting up that, like, hey, man, stay tuned because anything could happen.
Right, I thought that too, but I more leaned towards the fact that it was probably 2 hours. I don't know.
Perhaps. I don't know. I got to tell you, though, like, you guys you're okay with it. The whole episode to me, I was like, this show has got 50% dead weight on it right now.
Explain.
And I felt that dead weight was the Fitz and Simmons and the hacker girl. If the show was Coulson, Melinda May, and Ward, and maybe somebody else and a couple other people, I'd be way more interested. But, like, I'm watching this and I'm like, why do I even care about these 3 dipshits running around with their hands over their heads when bullets are flying and they're fucking S.H.I.E.L.D. agents?
But the 2 are scientists that are working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, they specifically, and the one thing I was glad about is the show did bring up a lot of my concerns where they've had S.H.I.E.L.D. training.
Right, but they're not agents. They're not field agents.
I don't know. I just have to imagine if you went through S.H.I.E.L.D. training, even if you're a science, you have some fucking combat. You know what I'm saying? Even the doctor in Starfleet on Star Trek can fucking shoot a phaser.
I mean, they have to have the civilian aspect in there. They need to have the people that are kind of, they need the smart, brainy people who can't protect themselves.
Listen, even in our own real military, in the real world, I'm sure a field medic, right, can handle a gun.
I'm sure they can. This is not the real world.
Okay, I guess in the fake Marvel world, S.H.I.E.L.D. training consists of what? Hey, you might get shot by bullets one day. Duck and put your hands over your head.
Was there an example in this second episode where they were completely unable to use a gun? Or were they in a situation where they were outclassed and Agent Ward was there?
I specifically remember one point where they were under fire and the 2 scientists just literally had like their hands over their ears and were just cowering.
That was when they were trying to leave the temple, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, for real? I'm like, just...
Well, they also didn't have any weapons. Ward was the only one with a weapon.
Brian, you're looking into it too much. Okay, yeah, they didn't have any weapons, but they're S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. You following me on this?
Why didn't they pick up some rocks and just throw them at the gorillas? They're S.H.I.E.L.D.
If the hacker girl did that, which, I mean, I guess she did, I'd been like, oh, okay, she's a fucking civilian. That makes sense. And the whole thing with Ward training her. This all works for me. The 2 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that can't handle fire really bug me.
Meh.
Apparently you 2 are okay with it, so.
Nuts to you, Jared.
I was honestly, I felt the plot of that second episode was a little underwhelming, but
super underwhelming.
I kept thinking like, well, it can't be superheroes every week. It's got to be like the babysitting job at 1 week, and it's got to be the let's go pick up this thing another week, and then it's like different missions in video game. It can't all be the same mission. So
that was okay with me because remember I had brought up last week, I was like, oh, I hope it's not a Monster of the Week Smallville type thing, which it wasn't. And they still tied the item into the bigger Marvel universe with it being a Tesseract, powered weapon.
Right.
Right, and that's before I started thinking that it was the second part of a premiere. That actually made me stand up and notice. I'm like, ooh, they actually are tying it not necessarily into the whole Marvel universe, but the fact that they went from the end of the first episode where they talked about an 804 or an 084.
Right.
And then they went, and that was what they were actually doing in that second episode. I was like, wow, if they actually continue the storyline like that every week, I'd be really impressed. But then, again, as I continued watching, I'm like, meh, this feels more like it was supposed to be one big, long show. So we'll see where they go from now.
If that's the case, though, if it was supposed to be a big 2-hour premiere, the second half of the premiere would have been a little underwhelming, like you said.
Right, until Nick shows up.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, the Nick Fury scene at the end kind of saved it for me. I was like, okay, you're holding my interest. You're giving me what I wanted. Now I'll watch again.
Right, and then that's how they get you.
Yeah.
And now you won't see another person from any of those movies until season 2 or 3.
Exactly. Hey, listen, you never know. Cat may show up or something. He ain't doing anything else.
I liked the slingshot. I liked them. We're going to just send this thing into the sun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I'm wondering how that's going to come into play at some point in time where they saying they're going to take something to destroy it, and then they end up, oh, they didn't actually destroy it. We kept it in a top secret, even more top secret government facility than S.H.I.E.L.D.
We just launched an empty slingshot into the sun as a clever ruse.
Right.
Also, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have an Agent Coulson theory.
Because Tahiti is very magical?
Yes.
Yes, I know. I kept.
So what do you think? He was resurrected by Thor somehow? Something to do with Asgard?
We talked last week about him being a decoy, a life model decoy, and
right.
I kept thinking, I was like, it's either a life model decoy or there's another character in the Marvel Universe with magic. I was thinking like Doctor Strange or somebody who could have resurrected him. Now, I don't know enough about the Marvel Universe extended to be able to play off that.
Well, what
just
about
named
the Scarlet Witch?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I guess her powers could have done that. That's a far cry. It could be a Doctor Strange thing.
Does he bring people back to life?
Well, he's a
I thought
sorcerer.
that was against the rules of magic.
I don't know. This is the movie universe. Anything's possible.
Right. I know it's very flexible. I just I agreed that the insisting that it's a very magical place implies heavily that some amount of magic was used to resurrect him for whatever reason.
I'm going with the Asgard theory, that something had to do with Asgard.
To tie it into the Thor movie?
You never know. Maybe in the Thor movie it gets brought up and he's like, I brought back that Agent Coulson fucker to life for you. But probably not.
The Cosmic Cube. Can you bring someone back to life with that?
Again, you're confusing comics and movies. That wasn't really established in the movie. It was just a power source, is basically what they made it out to be.
Oh, okay.
If it was the actual Cosmic Cube from the comic books, you could fucking do anything you want.
Right.
It just grants wishes.
I don't know. I've never seen it in the comics, so.
All right.
Sorry.
You never saw the Cosmic Cube? Basically, it's a cube that looks like the Tesseract that when you pick it up, it does whatever you want it to do.
Okay.
Anything.
I mean, I knew it existed. I knew of the name, but I didn't know what it did. I knew Red Skull had something to do with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Anyway, moving on from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to Agent Carter, which they actually did approve for a TV show next year, depending on how well Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does.
So kudos to you, Jared, for calling that. I honestly did not think that's what that would turn into, but I know when I've been beaten.
Well, listen, you still might be right because it's, like I said, it depends a lot on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which, from what I read, slipped a little bit in the ratings for the second episode.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what kind of numbers they're pulling off. Plus, it's it's on ABC. Disney owns ABC. Disney owns Marvel. They can put anything the fuck they want on for however long. Also, as far as Agent Carter goes, it's not like they have the actress, which is I think her name is Haley Atwell. She's not even signed. All they did was hire writers for the show so far.
So we could totally have somebody else playing Agent Carter.
Right. But since I've never seen her in anything else, as far as I know, she's dumb not to do it.
She isn't actually too busy to do the show. Her
What is
resume is not overwhelming.
And back to what you said about Disney owning all this. I mean, they own ABC and they own Marvel, so it kind of would be stupid for them to cancel this show, even if it had ratings in the tank. It is free publicity for all those movies that are coming out.
Yeah,
and it's a good way. I mean, they already have a built-in fan base. I don't care how much the ratings drop. There's going to be a baseline because of nerds. Because that's all there is to it. There will be a baseline because of nerds, because they want to see how it ties into all the movies and the rest of the universe. And if they actually do put this other show on, which if they've announced it, I'm going to say it's gonna happen. Again, because of what I just said. Then what I said last week, I hope comes to fruition, which is they talk about something in the Agent Carter show that happened to S.H.I.E.L.D. or some object that they had, and then, oh, lo and behold, a week later, it's on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and they're dealing with it now.
Absolutely fucking love that. I wished more shows would have done stuff like that. Like when you had like a few of the same Star Treks on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was only 2, which would have been Deep Space Nine and Voyager. Some kind of crossover episode that started in one and ended in the other would have been fucking awesome.
Well, I guarantee you that will happen with this. If the show does get on the air, which I think it will if they've announced it already.
Well, you never know. But like I said, 4 years ago or 5 years ago, after the first Iron Man came out, and they're like, we plan on doing this, and we're going to do a Cap movie and a Thor movie, and then we're going to culminate all that into a Avengers movie. I was like, bullshit. Bullshit. No way you can fucking pull this off. And you know what? They proved me wrong.
I never doubted it. I'm surprised you did.
Oh my God, did I doubt? First of all, how many times do you hear shit? Like, oh, so-and-so is interested in like, a lot of people still come to me, oh, Ryan Reynolds is going to do a Deadpool movie. Ryan Reynolds is going to do a Deadpool. That movie's never going to fucking happen. All right? I hate to break it to everybody, especially now with Ryan Reynolds' track record. But even before that, as soon as he signed up for Green Lantern, I knew that Deadpool movie would never come about. So, and when Iron Man came out, I was like, hey, listen, it was a big hit, and that's great. But how can you get all these actors back into the same movie, with a different director and all this shit? There's just too much going on, and Robert Downey Jr. is too big of a star now, and, to get all these egos in check. And they fucking did it. Listen, much like you, I can admit when I've been defeated. I was very happy. Never in a fucking million years would I ever think that I would see a fucking Avengers movie like that.
Yeah, where it wasn't just a standalone, where they actually built into it, you mean?
Yeah, where it was just like, hey, here's the X-Men, deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like, it's a great time to be a movie fan and a comic book fan. I mean, fucking Batman and Superman in the same movie, finally.
Let's not jump the gun on that one yet.
Do you think it's not going to happen, or?
Oh, I just think I don't know what the quality of it's going to be. I know nobody does. So.
Well, the quality I don't know, but if you don't think that everybody in the fucking world is going to go see that movie,
I still haven't seen that Superman movie, so
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying, like, can you think of two
about it?
Can you think of two superheroes that are more popular than those two?
No.
Everybody knows who they are. My mother knows who they are. She's almost 70 years old.
Yeah, so. No, I don't think your mother's going to see Batman and Superman, but
no, but she might.
But you're right. I don't doubt the commercial quality of that movie.
Yeah.
I don't doubt the quality of that movie, but that's just me.
Well, we already know how you feel about Man of Steel, even though you haven't even seen it yet.
I heard good things.
Yeah, I don't know who you're hearing that from.
Unreliable soursours.
Are they brain damage? Are they small children? Superman punches shit.
My friend, you guys know Leonard. He listened to the show last week and said, "I dare Ian to watch Man of Steel and say anything good about it." He's like, "It is terrible." So
he didn't like it either. Huh?
Oh no.
Okay, so we're in the same camp on that.
He also asked that he be invited on the show when we decide to talk about the Green Lantern film. Because he doesn't curse on any of his own podcasts, but he wants to come on here and drop a bunch of F-bombs about that movie.
Well, I think that Leonard is, if I recall, a DC nut like I am.
Yes.
As far as comics go, and we're both big Jeff Johns fans.
Yes.
So we could see how that was offensive to both of us. Some other quick news regarding to Marvel movies. We're going to change the name of this fucking podcast to Marvel Movies.
I'm hoping we'll get out of it at some point.
I guess the director of Thor, who is one of the directors off of Game of Thrones. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
I think his name is, I want to say Alan Taylor, but I might be wrong. But he did some great episodes on Game of Thrones. So to give you any idea what the quality of Thor might be,
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was some scenes in that movie that they just couldn't fucking wrap their head around, as dialogue wise and story wise. So they called in Joss. I guess Joss is a producer on the movie, and they called him in. The motherfucker flew up to wherever they were shooting the movie, rewrote the scene for him, and the director Alan Taylor, again, I don't know if that's really who it is, was like, "Oh shit, well I got you here. Can you fix these fucking scenes for us?" And Joss went in and rewrote like 3 more scenes for him and sent it out. And he was like, "All right, you need anything else? Let me know." Bang, I'm out of here. That's a good producer.
And it is Alan Taylor. That is his name.
Is it out? Okay, I'm
Yes.
glad I got that
Nice
right.
work, Jared.
Way to go.
That's classy.
So,
So what
I
you're
thought that
saying
was
is-
I thought that was nice that he's still he's involved in the other stuff as well. Like Jon Favreau was a producer on Avengers, but
Sure.
you think he just drew a check for that and didn't do anything?
No,
Yes.
I don't think so. I think he was probably involved. I think he had a lot going into it because of the Iron Man movies. He wanted to make sure that the end quality and the end product of the Avengers didn't screw up anything with the Iron Man franchise.
I've seen a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the Avengers, and I have yet to have seen Jon Favreau talk or do anything involved with that movie
You did?
other than say I'm the producer on it.
Just show up for craft services.
To be honest with you, this is what I think. Yeah, I gotta bulk up for Iron Man 3. What I think it was is that Disney was a little nervous because I think they probably wanted him to direct Avengers 3, and he was kind of like, "Look, I'm gonna go do my own thing." So they got somebody else, but they're like, "Look, can we just put your name on it so at least people won't be nervous?"
Did you
Good
say
luck.
Avengers 3?
Yeah, I'm sorry for Avengers. I'm thinking of Iron Man 3.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I think they wanted him for Avengers, Jon Favreau,
Hmm.
and he didn't do it. And they were just like, "Look, can we put your name on it, please? And we'll pay you a fat check."
I don't know why they'd want to put his name on it if Joss Whedon was already involved with it.
Because before that, Joss didn't hold too much weight with major audiences. He had a lot of nerd cred.
Honestly, that's all you probably needed. But okay. I mean, Joss has a huge track record of, nerd cred. But
Nerd cred, but not a lot of cred. The guy's only directed one movie before that. I think Joss got a nice big fat check for doing nothing.
those are the best ones.
Moving along, new Hobbit trailer out this week. Gentlemen,
Now,
what
you said it was new. Like we talked very briefly before the show, and you said it was new. And I saw a trailer when I went to see Gravity, and it looked,
that was probably the one.
but it looked a lot like one I've seen before. But maybe there was new footage in it that I just didn't realize.
As far as I know, there's 2. There was one that came out a few months ago that I saw that was heavy on the Legolas. Heavy.
This one had a lot of Legolas in it.
See, the newest one I saw touched upon it briefly. I mean, they mention him by name. They talk about him a little bit, but the other one had a lot of them in it.
No, the one I saw, he shows up. He's shooting arrows and shit.
Yep.
Well,
He's got a girlfriend.
Sure. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
More or less, the way I felt about the 2 is that the first one was a little goofy, and this one was way more serious.
Okay.
Is the one you saw, was it like very heavy-handed and serious, or not a lot of goofiness from the dwarves?
There was not a lot of goofiness.
Okay, then
They
you
were-
saw the one I saw.
They
Okay,
were
'cause
rolling
the
around
first,
in the barrels, and there's a lot of, I don't know, some impossible sword coming out of a barrel and hitting somebody at one point in time. I don't know. I just felt it looked like I didn't realize it was new, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I'm still not sure which one you saw, Brian.
Oh, I saw the one that's it's on trailers in front of Gravity, so it's got to be the new one. They're not
All right.
putting a 6-month-old trailer in front of Gravity.
All right. Ian, did you see the new one?
I did.
What did you guys think of the first movie?
It was not bad. I enjoyed watching it.
Compared to other movies or compared to other Lord of the Rings movies?
Compared to other Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, it was awful compared to other Lord of the Rings movies. Compared to other movies, it was fantastic.
I'll go along with that. It's a completely different story, so it's kind of hard to compare it to the other Lord of the Rings movies.
Actually, I would say it's really easy to compare them to the other ones since it's set in the same universe with a lot of the same characters.
But what I'm saying though, The Hobbit is honestly it's a kid's story. It's not this huge sweeping epic that is the Lord of the Rings, and where lives hang in the balance and like the fate of the world hangs in the balance. It's not that kind of story. It's a bedtime story. So it's told in a different fashion, and it's got that goofiness because of that. And granted, that kind of stuff wasn't totally in the book, but it's told in a different fashion. I'm sure they took a different take on it than they did with the Lord of the Rings films. The Lord of the Rings films are deadly serious. This story is not meant to be that way. There's going to be the goofy stuff. There's going to be fart jokes from trolls, and there's going to be that stuff. But I still enjoyed the first movie. I didn't go around telling everybody they had to see it like I think I did with the original trilogy, but I enjoyed it.
I don't know. I think that you add so much into that. I mean, they've added so much extra shit into that movie.
Well, they stretched that fucker out for 3 movies.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's like so the juxtaposition of the goofiness to the seriousness. I mean, there is some parts that are supposed to be really serious in it, and I think he really set the tone with the first 3 movies that people were kind of. I mean, listen, I read The Hobbit. I know it's a kid's fucking story. Doesn't mean you need to write it that way or set it up that way. I mean, it was so jarring to like revisit that universe and then have like dwarves running around singing and throwing plates and and farting, and I don't know what it is about directors when they go back and do prequels of big trilogies and fuck it all up.
Well, I think that's also stuff that they left out of the original trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because there's that crap that goes on some of the time in that book too, like when they meet or different times, like Tom Bombadil, like they cut out all that crap. It was useless. And that's the kind of stuff maybe he decided he wanted to kind of put that stuff more in here to be more of a humanizing element.
What are you, his fucking publicist?
No, I'm trying to give you a different view on it, because
I understand what you're saying. I just don't agree with you.
All right, well, fuck you.
Fuck you. Ian, who do you agree with?
Take a side now, Ian. In the divorce, we need to know.
Well, I don't. First of all, it's a well-known fact that I don't read books, because sooner or later they're going to make a movie out of it, and I'm lazy. So I have none of this background that you guys are talking about. I don't know what's been added. I don't know what's been cut, and I don't care. I understand Brian's point of the less epicness in the 2 different stories. I think they could have tweaked it to make it more epic. I wasn't disappointed in The Hobbit, but I wasn't waiting in line to see the midnight premiere or anything like that. It was a good movie. I'm happy I saw it. If I watch it a second time, I'll be surprised.
Basically, yes, Ian's sitting on the fence.
More or less. I don't really. It doesn't seem that divisive of an issue that I would think it would separate you two. You're both completely correct.
Oh, I have no dog in this fight. I'm just saying that that's how I felt about it. I didn't think it was the best movie ever. I didn't think it was the worst movie ever. I enjoyed it. I saw it in 3D. I thought that actually looked good. It wasn't.
Oh, I didn't at all. I'll have to disagree with you there.
Okay.
It added nothing to the film.
Well, no, wait.
Elements of vertigo.
Your 3D that you saw it in, did you see it in 24 or 48 frames?
I saw it in the 24 frame.
Oh, I heard if you watched it in 48 frames, it looked like you were watching a soap opera.
The 24 frame one was not typical, right? Or is 24 the typical one?
No, 48 was the atypical one. Most people got to see it in 24.
Okay.
Then I will assume that I saw it in 24.
So maybe I did. I don't know. I don't remember. Honestly, I thought I saw it in the one that was the new fangled version. So that would be 48.
48.
But I don't remember. I thought it looked good. I thought it looked bright as opposed to other 3D movies where they're always darker. And I mean, yeah, some of the CGI was kind of still weak, but I thought it looked good. Anyway, spending so much time on The Hobbit.
I know, but all right, we can move on. I just want to say there were things I did like about the movie. I didn't completely hate it.
And I think it will get more serious from here on out.
I hope so, because we got Benedict Cumberbatch. Ooh, yeah.
Yep. Were you just rubbing your hands together?
Yes, I was, man. I like that guy. He's a good actor.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I'm looking forward to him as Smaug.
Yeah. And we'll
Is
touch
he the
upon
voice of Smog?
Yes.
Yes.
No, he's in a bodysuit.
I don't know. I don't know why you would be excited about a particular voice actor. That I didn't think it would be that much of a draw. It took me a minute to realize who you were talking about, and I do enjoy him as an actor. If it's who I'm thinking of, he plays Sherlock in the
Yep.
BBC series
Yes.
of the same name.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
He's got a great voice, and I think he can do a lot with his voice, and I think he'll be able to add a lot to the part.
Yeah. Well, did you in the trailer you saw? Did you hear him at the end?
No.
Yes.
Oh, so maybe you saw the wrong one, Brian.
I just saw when his head snakes around and Bilbo is standing there.
You saw the first trailer then. You
Okay.
didn't see the second one.
Okay,
Because
good.
the second
all right.
the second trailer, you hear him actually talk. Like he does a lot of talking towards the end.
Oh shit. Okay, then no, that's so weird that they played the old trailer in front of a brand new movie.
Yeah, that's odd. And it's his voice sounds like him, but they did something to it that made it sound way cooler.
Oh. Well, good to know. I'll go look up the new one, I guess. Sorry for wasting 5 minutes of our time.
No, that's okay. You didn't miss much in the new trailer. It's very similar to the old trailer, I think.
Yeah, I just felt it was a little more serious than the other one had. You were talking about them in the barrels and going down the river.
Right. I didn't remember that at all. This new one is a little darker.
So moving along, Legend of Conan in production right now
Yeah.
with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ooh, as Conan the King?
Yes. Now,
My God.
listen to this. This is why I bring this up. This movie is a direct sequel to the first Conan the Barbarian. It doesn't acknowledge Conan the Destroyer or the new Conan the Barbarian movie. Those two are out.
Oh, I love Destroyer.
Why would Conan the Destroyer be out?
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Sucks shit.
Okay.
What?
You liked Conan the Destroyer?
Yeah, it was perfectly fine. It was a nice next step in the Conan trilogy.
I could tell you honestly, I don't remember anything about probably much either one of those movies.
The one with, you didn't see like a Barbarian or Destroyer or
Barbarian and Destroyer, it's been so long since I've seen either one of them that I couldn't tell you more than a handful of things about them.
Oh wow, I've seen Barbarian an unnatural amount of times.
Yes, me too.
So
It is a
fantastic.
goddamn classic.
And as far as this one that's about to happen, this Conan the King, I mean, it's been rumored for
Since before he went in
Ever.
office, I know. I do
Right.
remember that. I remember us
Jared
talking
and
about
I
it
were
at-
excited about this movie on the way to your wedding.
I said I remember we were talking about it in on radio when we were doing radio, I think.
Yeah.
So it's been
It's
a
been
little time.
tossed around for a while. I remember the Wachowski brothers were going to do it. There was a whole thing going on.
You are
Ian,
not-
I would say for you, since you seem to like Conan the Destroyer,
Mhm.
is if you ever get a chance to watch the movies back to back and just see how bad Destroyer is compared to the
compared
first
to
one.
Barbarian?
Yes.
Absolutely. You're not at all wrong. But Destroyer was still an entertaining movie.
Nah, I don't know. Like, and much like you, I have watched Conan the Barbarian a lot of times. I fucking own
Absolutely.
like 2 copies of it on DVD. It actually made me get obsessed with the director, John Milius. You guys, I don't know if you know who he is.
Nope.
No. Tell us
There's
more.
there's a documentary out or coming out you might want to watch because it sounds really interesting. There's a lot of that I didn't know, but when I watched the behind the scenes thing and I'm like, wow, this movie is just it's so 70s and so like heavy metal magazine and everything like that. I just fucking love everything about it. And I think Arnold only has like 15 lines in the whole fucking movie, which makes it great. But anyway, I wanted to hear what you guys thought about that. So at least one of you doesn't shit.
I didn't even know it existed till now, but I'm super excited.
All right.
I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not going to run out to the theater to watch it, but when it comes out, DVD, I'll take a gander.
So, no, it said immediately after Barbarian or slightly in the future once he has become
Well,
king by his own hand?
Yeah, I mean, it's a sequel to Barbarian.
Okay.
I would hope it's not like the next day. I mean, dude, age 30 years
Jeez.
in one day.
Conan, what the fuck happened to you?
Witch put a spell on me. I don't know. He's suddenly some kind of weird Mexican. That was my terrible impersonation of Conan.
Oh, I thought you meant that they got his son to play him after he knocked up that Mexican.
Yikes.
Have you ever seen a picture of that kid?
No.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh my God, he is the Mexican Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is fucking hilarious.
No, I have not seen that.
So,
I'm totally
they have-
behind this whole 80s action star revival thing, like with the Expendables and all that shit like that. I'm totally loving all this.
I still haven't watched either one of those.
They're really not that
It was
great.
good. It was exciting.
It was like I have other movies I need that they are going to take up my time besides watching that. If I'm totally desperate for something and it was streaming, I think they were streaming for a while on Netflix. If they aren't still, I just haven't got to the point where I'm like, yep, I'm gonna check out for 2 hours and watch The Expendables.
Right. That seems pretty reasonable.
It's a
There
total
were-
80s action flick,
Yeah,
Right.
is what it is. But in the second one, you get to see Van Damme fight Stallone. I mean, I used to talk about that as a fucking kid.
See, now that makes me kind of want to download the second one. I'll see if it's around somewhere. Surely someone has it.
Yeah, it's not. They're okay. They're not the
Right.
greatest thing in the world. I mean, Stallone and Schwarzenegger have another movie coming out.
Right. The We Escape from Prisons.
Yeah,
Right.
that actually is probably a better name than the one there is. I don't remember what the name is, but that might be a better name.
I think it is Escape. That's the name of it. Okay, well then we'll briefly touch upon World War Z sequel.
Oh fuck no!
It's happening.
Stop!
Apparently.
Stop!
And now,
I
listen,
just threw up a
didn't-
little in my mouth.
Okay, I didn't see World War Z, but I know zombies is like your bag, and apparently
It's
from the tone
my
of your
bag,
voice-
baby.
From the tone of your voice, not so good.
Dude. You also, I know Ian doesn't read books, but did you read the book, Jared?
No.
It is a
So-
very. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say you have made me a liar, and this might have been before my commitment, but several years back, I read World War Z because I was told it was such a good book, and it was.
Oh, it was a fantastic book. It came out in 2006, late
And-
2006, early 2007.
Yep. Surely enough, they made it into a movie, and I was crushed.
Oh, crushed is a mild term.
Well, it's mild because I went to a meet and greet with Max Brooks before the movie came out, and he said, if you enjoyed my book, the movie is, they only bought my book for the title.
Yep.
And I said, that's too bad. I enjoyed you on Saturday Night Live.
I saw Max Brooks at a Philadelphia Comic-Con in like 2009, maybe a little earlier than that. And no, I think it was around 2009 because the book had already been purchased. Brad Pitt's company bought the rights to the book like within 2 or 3 months of the book coming out.
Oh, okay.
And it had been 2 years now where it was in production hell. And we saw him. I saw him. He was doing a thing about zombie genres and whatnot. And people kept asking, like, when's the movie coming out? He's like, listen, the rights are bought. I have nothing to do with this anymore. He's like, if you have any questions, you have to take them to whatever, I can't remember the name of Brad Pitt's production company. He's like, start knocking on their door and demanding that this movie comes out because honestly, I have nothing to do with the production schedule or anything else any longer. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then once I start hearing things online about the script and then more and more about it and then seeing the trailer, I was like, yep, Brad Pitt just bought the title because World War Z sounds like a really cool title and then just shat all over everything else. It was not even a good zombie movie.
Really? So even based on a movie if it had nothing to do with the book, as a movie alone, it was no good?
It's PG-13.
Right.
There's almost no blood in the movie.
You can't have blood in a PG-13, or at least very little.
The only blood I think is in the movie is when he gets hurt from a plane crash. I think that's the only blood. He pulls a piece of the wreckage out of him, and I think that is the only blood in the entire movie. There might be a little bit more here and there. There's no on-screen, obviously, no carnage. A guy kills himself off-screen. He kills a zombie off-screen. It's just, I'm like, where the fuck is the zombie movie? It could have been anything. I heard somebody say this, it could have been gorillas. It could have been gorillas, and it would have been the same fucking movie. Instead of having zombies running all over the place, it could have been insane gorillas attacking everybody, and it would have been the same movie.
That would have been awesome.
That actually may have been awesome.
I loved Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I love that movie too. But I'm very sad to hear there's going to be a sequel to this. It's very, very disheartening.
I guess because it made a ton of money, right?
It didn't do bad. I know that. I don't know how well it did, but I know it wasn't considered a flop.
No, yeah, I was going to say, I think it was Brad Pitt's highest grossing movie to date.
Oh, dude.
I don't know how I ended up skipping that because I saw a lot of movies this summer shit, I saw the Lone Ranger.
Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed. Did you either of you see it?
No.
No.
Oh dear Lord. When I mentioned the three dipshits on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
Right?
they pale in comparison to the dipshit known as the Lone Ranger.
Wow. I couldn't
But
bring
that's
myself to see
you
that movie.
know,
I have to
I
plan
was
very
gonna
carefully
say.
what I see since I don't get out to the movies mostly. And the only reason I ended up seeing World War Z in the theaters is because my wife had taken the kids out of town for a few days. I was like, oh, I have some days to myself. So I went and saw it like the last week of the run. So I was the only person in the theater.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It was just not good.
It's really
All right.
low on my to watch list, but
Yeah.
if it's now that I don't, again. So other than Rise of Planet of the Apes, you guys are two of the harshest film critics I know. Has there been a movie since Rise of Planet of the Apes that you guys have enjoyed?
I like a lot of movies. Just it happens to be
That
the ones we've spoken about have.
Yeah.
only except for the ones we speak about aloud, which are the worst pieces of shit that have ever been made.
I really enjoyed World's End.
I liked World's End.
I thought World's End was fucking amazing.
Oh, that looks cold. I want to see that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very
Oh, good.
Especially if you like the other two. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
right
did.
in the same line. A lot of the same self-referential, a lot of the same kind of in jokes inside it too, and titles of things or pieces of what's going to happen, stuff like that.
Brian disagrees with me, but I think the best of the three.
No, I still think Shaun of the Dead is the best.
No, I have to disagree. But
And even regardless of it just being about zombies, I still think that since it was a kind of new thing and it was their first outing, I don't know, I thought it was better. Anyway, go ahead.
on a side note for this is, or I'm sorry, World's End. Some of the most best choreographed fight scenes I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Yes, I will give it that.
I mean, I was really, really surprised, and it also amped me up for Ant-Man a lot because of that.
Because what am I missing?
Okay, you don't know Edgar Wright, the guy who directed those movies.
Yes.
Is Ant-Man.
He is directing Ant-Man?
Yes.
Okay, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, as they just released a still of that too. It looked very cool.
I'll take your word for it.
All right.
I also.
That absolutely went nowhere because neither of you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah, I thought maybe he was going to be Ant-Man or.
I didn't realize that Ant-Man was actually that far into production that they had a still
No.
from it.
I thought it was just a rumor.
And also, I am not excited at all about it.
Are you a little more excited now?
No, it's fucking Ant-Man.
But look, okay.
Sorry, until I see some kind of decent trailer or hear something else about it, I can't get excited about it.
Will it include the Wasp?
I think yes.
I'm a little more excited then.
I think yes. I don't know.
I hate Henry Pym. I think he's a terrible character, and I always wish bad things upon him.
Okay.
This will all get cut out. Let's talk about a giant thunder lizard.
We will have no Hank Pym bashing on this podcast, sir.
I won't tolerate that nonsense.
We support wife beaters. Okay. Also, other news that came out this week. There was a leaked Godzilla trailer that was up for what? Maybe a couple hours, Brian?
If that, by the time I heard about it and went to watch it, it was like, oh no, this has been taken down due to copyright infringement. Yuck.
Yeah, all my, which I'm starting to think that was an intentional leak.
I think all leaks are intentional leaks, so I don't doubt
agree
it.
with Brian on that one.
But then it eventually actually got out, right?
Well, was the leak the teaser or the full trailer?
The teaser. I don't think there was a full trailer. It's just the teaser.
Oh, so everyone was making a big deal about the teaser?
Well, because everybody's been waiting to see what Godzilla is actually going to look like. Because there had been stills a month or two ago where it was like showed like a giant footprint, or it showed something where they're like, oh, the scale of Godzilla is going to be immense, and then people that were hoping to God that it actually looked decent and not like that abomination from the '98 film. So this was a big deal because they actually show Godzilla very briefly, but they show him, and he looks nothing like that trash from the.
Oh, see, I had thought the big trailer got leaked, and then to get everybody excited, they released the teaser.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I
don't know.
The teaser was the big deal.
But what I had read that is that I guess the 50th anniversary of Godzilla is in the beginning of November, and that's when they're probably going to release the full trailer.
Oh, good.
So, but anyway, did you both of you see the trailer?
Yes.
Yes.
And what did you think?
I think, well, I mean, the tone of it, first of all, is the right tone for what we would want from a Godzilla movie, I think.
Right.
Again, I have to keep going back to, and I know we'll talk about it, but that movie from '98 was just oof. So I feel like the tone was good. I feel that the use of the Oppenheimer quote in the trailer was really good.
I didn't even pick up on that.
About the "I am the destroyer of worlds."
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah, that's the quote that Oppenheimer said when he made the atomic bomb. Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds, and he was actually quoting the Bhagavad Gita. I can never pronounce that. Famous text, Hindu text, I believe. Anyway, I like the use of that quote because of the whole radiation and the creation of Godzilla.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you think that ties in? And
I'm assuming it does, and I just thought it looked good. I mean, for a teaser, the destruction that they were showing, I think they show a giant hole in the middle of a building that's still standing. I thought it looked good.
that's classic Godzilla. They did that for '98 Godzilla, didn't they?
A giant Godzilla-shaped hole in the middle of a building.
It was definitely a
like
hole.
Bugs Bunny.
Didn't they? Yeah, didn't he put a hole through the MetLife building?
I've spent 15 years trying to wipe that movie out of my brain.
You know, I watch that at least maybe once a year.
Why?
I'll get to that when we discuss it.
Jesus.
Aren't we already here
I was gonna say this might be the perfect.
Well, no, I didn't get Ian's thoughts on the trailer.
on the train? It looked fine. I'm definitely going to see it. I'm not terribly motivated by a Godzilla movie.
Wow.
I wasn't motivated by the one in '98. This one, I'm like, oh, good, Godzilla. I'll see it at some point in my life.
Oh my God, I was like fucking nuts for the '98 one.
I'm hoping that this is everything the '98 movie was supposed to be, or should have been, or could have been, and is also holds my interest more than Pacific Rim did.
Well, it's looking like this is the Batman Begins to Batman and Robin of Godzilla movies.
Right. I think that's a good call.
And I kind of feel the same way as you. Is like I saw Pacific Rim, I enjoyed it. I wasn't like overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
It had some cool shit.
Yep.
I would have liked a little more like daytime monster fighting, so I could get a better look at what was going on.
Not everything in the rain and in the pitch black.
Yeah, I hate when they do that shit. You know, I'm like, okay, I kind of see what's going on, sort of. And in the end, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Like it took a complete left turn. Like, oh, sure.
Yeah, and then there was a big chunk of the movie where I was like, oh my God, aren't there fucking monsters running around? What is going on? But anyway, we're not here to discuss Pacific Rim. We're here to talk about Godzilla. So I kind of feel the same way as you guys. Well, more on the side of Brian. Like I love giant monster movies and shit like that. I love that shit. That's why I was so excited for the '98 one.
Yeah, I remember we were talking about that '98 one all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
waiting for it to come out.
yeah, I mean, and if you lived in New York, and we were living in New York at the time, were you living with?
No, you were there
no,
already.
okay.
That's what I was
I
going to
was
say.
living in New York.
I was going to say I was still back in. We went to school at Penn State and State College. I was still back in State College for another few months. You had already moved out to New York. You kept telling me about the advertising campaign for this movie.
Oh, you couldn't go 2 feet without running into something. Fucking legs, fucking things on the butt. Like they would put things on the side of like the big buses in New York City. Be like, his foot is as big as this bus. You know, shit like that. Oh, it was great.
When I finally moved out to New York in, I think, August, there were still some of the advertisements up, some of the billboards, and because the billboards would say, like, his tail would have reached from here to the blah-de-blah, and it would be, like, these ridiculous measurements for Godzilla. So some of those were still up by the time I moved out there, but I just remember because we were talking a lot, and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see this, and they have all this huge marketing campaign, and it's going to be awesome, and then we saw it.
I have to say that the movie The first third of the movie, I actually do kind of enjoy watching it. Like the lead up to, and even the scene where Godzilla shows up in New York is the first scene where he shows up is pretty solid in my opinion. And then it goes completely downhill.
um,
Complete.
I don't, like I said, honestly, I don't remember a lot about the pacing. I just remember, I think I've seen this movie once, and it was in the theater in May of '98. Like I couldn't bring myself to go watch it again.
I found it in the $5 bin at Walmart, and I was like, fuck it.
I've definitely seen snippets of it here and there if it's on TV or I'm walking through someplace and it's on. But I have not seen the whole movie through since '98.
Oh. Well, to give you a little brief recap, the first third of the movie, like where you don't even get to see Godzilla that often, really sets the tone for something cool to happen. And you know what I'm saying? Like you see like the footprints, you see like a tanker ripped apart. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on. They're trying to track the monster down. And like I said, even when he arrives in New York, that's a pretty cool scene. And then immediately after that, and I don't know who would have fucking okayed this. They're like, okay, as soon after Godzilla arrives in New York, we're gonna cut to a lame ass love story between two college kids that that lost touch with each other. Sound good? Sound good. Let's go. Film that shit. I just never understood that part of the movie.
Who are the college kids?
It's I don't even know who the actress is. I mean, she was big back in the '90s, but never showed up anywhere. And her and Matthew Broderick.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I figured you were talking about Broderick, but I couldn't remember who the love interest was.
Yeah, I mean, it immediately cuts to like her, like oh, I used to have a love and blah blah. I'm like, what the fuck? It seems such a weird choice to make. And I kind of feel that the movie suffers a little bit from Independence Day syndrome, where you have so many characters, that you have to touch upon in a way. It's like a big disaster movie, and this guy's doing this and this guy's doing that, and then they all kind of get together, But it had some really lame ass humor in it as well.
Oh, it was right up there with those Independence Day movie type of humor. The whole formula of it was very similar.
Do you ever get the feeling? And I used to get this feeling when Batman Begins came out, and more so when The Dark Knight came out, the one with the Joker, that like Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher were probably sitting there looking at that and going, God, we're fucking losers. so I'm figuring like Roland Emmerich goes and sees like the first 30-minute teaser trailer of Godzilla, which like makes the other one look like it was made like by the Electric Company, like just this piece of shit kid thing, and go, God, what the fuck's wrong with me? Why didn't I do that?
I think the only thing they would probably tell themselves is like, oh, it was a different time. The '80s, it was all, the late '80s, early '90s, it was a completely different time.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Maybe Joel Schumacher, but I don't know. Again, perhaps my standards are significantly lower than you two gentlemen, but I liked both of Tim Burton's Batman films.
They were good at the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but Ian, compare them to the ones now.
No, not even close. The ones now were absolutely phenomenal.
I mean, but what I'm saying is like, back then that was all we had. And to be quite honest with you, the Joel Schumacher Batmans make the Burton Batmans look like fucking Citizen Kane. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I guess when I watch the Tim Burton ones, I just expect a Batman movie, but the other ones I expect a Dark Knight movie. And those are just two totally different Batmans to me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. One of the nice things I listen to other podcasts, and I listen to Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman, and he just recently did basically a commentary for the '89 Batman, right? And listening to him describe it, and I'm like, God, yeah, this really isn't the greatest movie in the world. It was all we had. But after listening to it and him talking about it, I'm like, it doesn't really hold up that well.
Oh no, it does not.
No. You are not at all wrong.
Okay.
It felt like a big screen version of the the Adam West Batman.
So more or less my point thinking, so you don't think these directors like go, oh, what is wrong with me? Why did I?
I would like to again. I would like to believe that, but I think they're much more similar to the Hollywood you described earlier, where they're just rolling around in giant tubs filled with money, laughing at the number of people who lined up to go see those movies.
Yeah, I guess so. But I guess since neither one of you remember the 89 or the 98 Godzilla that well, we really can't even discuss it.
No, I am totally in Brian's camp on that one. I saw it once in '98, and I've never seen it since.
Wow, because I remember everything. I think I just saw it like 6 months ago.
I know that the fucker lays, it's a girl, and it lays its eggs in fucking Madison Square Garden.
And then John Reno shows up.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that movie suffers from a lot of different syndromes, I guess. It suffered from that Independence Day syndrome, and it also was like, Jurassic Park is a very popular movie. We need a scene like Velociraptors. Hence, tiny little Godzilla's running around in Madison Square Garden.
It was just, I don't know. I wish that the Godzilla of 98, and I hope that the Godzilla of 2014 is more along the lines of Cloverfield, and is, but like you said, like it's the Batman Begins of the Godzilla franchise. I hope to God it is. I really liked Cloverfield, and I wish they had made a Godzilla movie in the same vein of Cloverfield. I know a lot of people are not happy with Cloverfield, but I enjoyed it.
See, Cloverfield to me felt like, I don't know, it had like a good start and a good setup. And again, I felt like I didn't get enough of the monster, but I know that was the point of it because it was like a found footage type thing.
Right.
But then they go into like the subway, and I get another kind of smaller version of the Cloverfield monster chasing us around type thing. Wasn't there like a scene like that?
They were the
babies.
They weren't the babies. They were the creatures that lived on Cloverfield. They were like lice.
Right. Okay. But it was still, we still like, don't give me that. Give me the fucking monster, man.
Aren't they cranking out a sequel to that?
There is an untitled Cloverfield sequel on IMDb, but it's been there for years, I think. I don't know when they're actually doing something with it, but I hope they do. They left it open for some good stuff, so.
I don't even remember how that ended.
They bombed the fuck out of Central Park, and the guy is under a bridge in Central Park, like a tiny walking bridge under Central Park, and gets buried alive, and then that's how they supposedly find his footage.
Oh.
You don't remember that?
Kind of. I remember it like the monster sneaking up on him. The giant
like
skyscraping, ripping monster sneaking up on him.
Like the Transformers do in the Transformers movie?
Yes. I was like, ooh, that's a sneaky monster. But yeah, that was all. I only saw it once.
Oh, really? See, that's a movie I've seen a bunch of times.
Oh, no.
But now that you're talking about Godzilla 98, maybe I have to go find it for like $1.
I would say, if you tell me like the first third of the movie wasn't a good setup, and made you get excited, and then it went downhill.
I just should have known it wasn't going to be a good movie because Matthew Broderick was in it. It's so cornball.
See, I don't even mind him that much in it.
But I should have known from his acting and his track record that it wasn't going to be like this huge monster movie.
It's not Matthew Broderick who fucking tanked that film.
No. But I should have known from the fact that he was in it that it was not going to be. I mean, Harry Shearer is in it, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, Harry and
Hank Azaria.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There was so much wrong with that movie. Like the mayor of New York is Mayor Ebert and looks like Roger Ebert, and his aide is Gene Siskel. It didn't make any fucking sense. Why do that? And Harry Shearer, big time perv in the movie, like trying to get the little blonde girl to sleep with him even though he's married. It was, I don't know. The whole movie's a mess towards the end.
I think now I have to go find it and watch it so we can do an actual review on it. Just an hour-long review of this terrible film.
Hey, that's fine. I've seen plenty of retrospectives on YouTube.
Because, like I said, I saw it. You and I had been talking about it for a long time because we both like these kind of movies. You were in New York. I was back in State College still. I saw it by myself because I had no one else to watch it with. I went to the theater, saw it by myself, and I was like, that was one of the worst pieces of shit I've ever seen. I remember walking out of the theater dejected and just walking down the alley being like, man, That sucks. That's all I could think.
See, I walked out and I was like, I wanted to like it so bad, and I was like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. It was okay, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't until I watched it like, years later that I was like, wow, this really is awful towards the end. It's just, I don't know why they made these weird choices to do things for a Godzilla movie.
I just kept thinking of that Puff Daddy song that played in it.
With the
Led Zeppelin rip.
Yeah.
Oh, man, no good.
But let me tell you something. That was a great time to live in New York when that movie came out, because I think New York got slammed in 3 movies that summer.
Well, Armageddon? Was 98 Armageddon?
I think it was Armageddon. I think there might have been one other one, too, that came out.
Because Armageddon is the one where they actually make a reference to Godzilla in it.
Yeah, there's little Godzillas on the ground. And
yeah, some guy is selling toys on a corner in New York, and there's a Godzilla, and the dog comes over and knocks him over.
Armageddon was definitely the same summer as that Godzilla, and I think maybe Deep Impact came out a few months before that, where New York got slammed with the tidal wave.
Yeah, Deep Impact came out definitely at the same time.
So
maybe it came out later. It might have came out later.
I don't know.
No,
but either way,
back to back.
Yeah, either way, it was fun to live in New York and see all these things get blown up that you knew about.
Deep Impact came out in May, so it came out at the same time as Godzilla. Armageddon came out 2 months later.
Right.
In case anyone's keeping score.
Yeah. Time in New York.
I loved Armageddon. I still enjoy Armageddon. It's got the right amount of camp and explosions.
I'm not embarrassed to admit this. Every time I watch Armageddon, even though it's some people highly regard it as like the epitome of a Michael Bay shitfest,
you cry a little bit at the end?
I cry a little bit. I get fucking welled up when he's fucking saying goodbye to Liv Tyler over the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I do.
It's very touching. Bruce Willis is a good actor.
And it's hard to watch now knowing what a cocksucker Bruce Willis is.
Why is Bruce Willis a cocksucker? Because Kevin Smith said so? No.
There's been more shit coming out. You didn't see the Bruce Willis lay into that fucking interviewer a few months ago over Red 2?
No.
Oh, yeah. If you get a chance, YouTube that.
Is it up there with Christian Bale's, good for you?
First of all, nothing will ever touch the Christian Bale rant, because I could barely watch those fucking Batman movies without thinking, God, he's such a dick.
Oh, good for you. Love them.
And I've seen them try to redeem him in a lot of interviews and stuff like that, and I still go back to, what a dick. Just a total dick.
All right, folks. If you are looking to contact us, you can contact us on Twitter at ProdPod. And we'd be happy to hear from you, what you thought about the show. If you have any ideas for us, things to speak about, you can reach out to us on Twitter at ProdPod. You can also reach Prodigal Sons Podcast at gmail.com or visit our website, prodigalsonspodcast.com. Folks, do you have anything you'd like to plug? Jared, you doing anything?
No, I'm going to plug my shit next week when I get more information on it.
You are going to plug your shit next week.
Right now.
Hey, listen, you took it there. I didn't.
No. You took it there. You made it weird.
I do make a promise, though, if you listen again next week, that we will not mention any Marvel movies or any Marvel shit, or maybe any superhero movies to start with.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
I know. It always goes back to Green Lantern somehow.
We're obviously still working on the format of the show, and we're like I said, we're 3 guys who have known each other for however long, 16 years or something like that, and we got a lot of history. We got a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of movies and TV and other random things to spew forth. So we'll figure out some kind of good format.
And that ends episode 2. Thank you very much, Brian and Ian.
Oh,
I appreciate
it's a pleasure.
input on everything we talked about, especially your deep insight into the '98 Godzilla. That was spot on, gentlemen. And with that, we bid you adieu.
Take care.